you and Melissa.
Yes.
Did you hit it off right away? I mean, that chemistry was fantastic.
That was one of those rare things that, you do chemistry reads for the network. So there's always like 3 Mikes, 3 Mollys, 3 Carls, 3
Right.
Victorias. And when you go in, you read with each one. So they're seeing who has the chemistry.
Yeah.
And something happened between me and Melissa where you even saw it affect when we did our audition together. You could even see the network executives who are trained to show no emotion. They're dead inside.
Yeah.
Even they were like, whoa.
Yeah, they
like
felt
there
it.
was just something with me and her right out of the gate.
That's
and there was
great.
just a trust that was there from the start. And I think that's what came across on the
She is one of the funniest human beings.
She's awesome.
I mean, I have every once in a while I will just Google the outtakes of her from with Jason Bateman. What is that movie?
No, she's off the cuff.
Identity Thief. That
no, not Identity Thief. I'm sorry, not Jason Bateman.
This is 40.
This is 40.
Yeah,
this is 40.
Oh yeah.
And she is so goddamn funny. And I thought,
truly is.
In real life, she must be just a joy to know.
She really is, man. And she became like my little sister. And we went through it together. And then when her star took off, the 3rd season of Mike and Molly with Bridesmaids, that's what sent her into the stratosphere. She came to work the same person.
I was going to ask you, were you worried or were you like, oh, this is going to ruin everything now?
No, God, no, because I'm smart enough to know that, eyes on her are eyes on our show.
Sure.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And I had no ego about that.
Right.
I was so grateful to be where I was at. And we were all so close. Like the reason Mike and Molly was so special, not just the writing and the direction, I mean, we had the best of the best, but the cast, everybody was over 40 years old.
Yeah.
Everybody had been kicked around for 10 years. So the attitude in that place was, we got good parking, coffee, insurance. Nobody ruined this.
Right.
And so it was this real gift and joy to go to work there every day. But after she got nominated for an Oscar for that, and dude, she came in the next day after being at the Academy Awards, no makeup, hair up, just complaining about the drop-off line at school. I'm like, this is my girl.
Yeah,
she's fine.
That's great. That's so great.
To this day, me and her, great. I still talk to that whole cast, and I talk to most of the Bob Hart's people, too, because you have to, Burroughs says, too, he said at the beginning of Mike and Molly, he goes, go out to dinner, learn about each other, learn about each other's kids, learn about what each other's going through. He goes, because if I don't believe you like each other, nobody's going to believe you like each other.
That's true.
And that's a great chemistry building thing. And we just all stayed so tight through that whole ride. It was really amazing.
When you guys are doing the show and all of a sudden people are talking about fat people, 2 fat people can't be on a show together.
Yeah.
Now, and I know in this business, anybody talking about you is great, especially when it's something that everybody's like, well, wait a second. And then now there's an argument.
Right.
Were you at a point where you're like, this is great for us? Or was it a distraction?
I wasn't sure about it. And Chuck Lorre said something so great. He goes, when a writer says something stupid, a sitcom gets his wings. And he was right on the money. And then, it was mean-spirited what this woman wrote.
Sure.
Because, we don't want to see heavy people in love. Like, lady, go F yourself.
Look at 80% of the world.
Exactly right. I don't know anybody who's not struggling with their weight, even if it's 5 pounds.
Right.
So, The View had us on back when Barbara Walters was on. And Melissa's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going in there to talk about this. And I go, well, I'm a comic. I'll go. Because I know at some point I'll be able to turn it.
Right.
So we're doing the interview, and they're all very nice. And of course, Barbara Walters gets all heavy during the interview. And Vanity Fair wrote a article or whatever it was. I don't remember my magazine. She said, this writer wrote that, and she quoted it, like heavy people should not be kissing on TV and being loved together. And da, 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 da. How did you respond to that? She was waiting for this, like, I'm just so sorry. But I've been working honky tonks in Florida since I'm 18. I'm not getting intimidated. So I let a real pregnant pause go, and she goes, how did you respond to this writer? And I let it sit, and I go, I sent her a cake. And then, boom, the audience was with us, and it just took off from there. And then the proof was in the pudding, because I think there was a genuine sweetness to that show.
Yeah.
I think there was a genuine sweet, because the underneath current of Mike and Molly is 2 people who thought they were never going to fall in love that fell in love.
Right.
And they said every week, we're going to look for that baby, you're the greatest moment. from the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
So all the funny stuff is great, and we got this great cast, and it's great, but we need that one moment
Connection at
where,
the end.
where
Yeah.
couples can watch that show and go, they're like us.
Yeah.
And once we found that, it was over. And then my favorite thing to do with her was around season 3, they started letting her have more freedom because you could just see it coming.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story real quick that after her star took off, Chuck called me that summer and he goes, listen, he goes, the show right now is the Honeymooners, okay? We're going to switch it to I Love Lucy because we need to highlight her.
Right.
And
Sure, she's outgrown.
We need to capitalize on her star. He goes, I need to know if you're okay with that. I go, Chuck, I'll pick her up on the way to work.
Right.
I'm not going back.
Right.
I'll do whatever you need me to do. So then you watch the show kind of transform, and it's really a beautiful arc of a show when you watch the whole thing together. But
that says a lot about you again, about how the fact that you're not, now you got some money, now you got some stability, but you don't have the ego. You're like, listen, I get it. This is a business and we're doing the right business thing. Yeah.
Well, I'm always about the show. If the show's bigger than you, your set never becomes toxic.
Yeah.
It's about the show. And I always try, Burroughs gave me some good advice at the beginning of the show. He came into my dressing room because everybody in that show they were heavy hitters. Like Reno went to the School of Fame, had done a bunch of shows. Melissa, she's out of Illinois, the Groundlings. She'd been on, what's the show? Gilmore Girls.
Yep.
Katie Mixon, classically trained at Carnegie Mellon. Niambi, Shakespearean Art School, New York City. Plays on
legit group of actors.
Lou Mastillo and Susie Kurtz, Broadway.
Yeah.
Rondi Reed, who played my mom, Steppenwolf. So these are like, and I'm like coming out of the comedy club kitchen, like, you guys doing a show? And Jimmy came in and he sat with me the day before the pilot and he said, I want you to know something. He goes, I'm going to give you an old phrase. He goes, the fish thinks with the head. You're number one on this call sheet. Mm-hmm. He goes, now that comes with a responsibility. Whether you accept it or not is your business. He goes, but if you come in here and act like a gentleman, kindness and camaraderie is going to grow in your set. And he goes, if you come in here and act like an ass, that's going to grow.
Right.
And then he didn't tell me what to do. He just said, I hope you make the right call.
That's great.
And I did, I think. I did. I was respectable. And I think I gave and I cheered on and I shared and it became this family thing. And now Jimmy refers to me as the second nicest man in Hollywood.
Who was the first?
Ted Danson.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good company.
So so now at what point do you lose all the weight? Are you in between shows when you do that?
It was the second season of Bob Hart's Abishola.
Because Bob has a heart attack.
It worked out. It's, one of those art imitate life things.
Yeah.
So it worked out perfectly. So I was in trouble, man. I had type 2 diabetes, cholesterol numbers going up, triglycerides going up, blood pressure going up. Like, as a big guy, you can carry it for a while.
Oh, I know.
Well, we've been on the journey together. Actually, you were a little ahead of me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember talking to you about that at length.
Yeah.
And, I played sports when I was in high school, and so I could carry the weight for a while, but eventually the numbers, you can't outrun the numbers.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, that first wave of COVID, and when that thing came up for the people that were, now look, I know we're in Florida, half of you believe, half of you don't. I don't care. This is just my journey. You shouldn't care what I think.
Yeah, but what they said was,
but that thing, when it came up, like, these are the most dangerous people: overweight, type 2 diabetes, smoker, sleep apnea. I was like, bingo, I got them all.
Yeah.
So I had to make this health change. And so I went to Chuck. I said, listen, I'm going to do something drastic here. I'm going to get bariatric surgery. Are you okay with that while we're doing the show? And I explained my medical situation. He goes, even if this show didn't make sense, I would want you to do it. He goes, I want you around. So go get it done over the summer. And he goes, and ironically, it's perfect for this show because your guy starts with a heart attack, falls in love, and gets better mentally and physically.
Right.
He goes, so we're going to just streamline that right into the show subtly. And we'll just say, hey, you're looking good, Mike. You eating less, Mike? Good exercise, Mike. And so he let that happen for me on the show,
great.
Which was incredible.
That's great.
Just so unbelievable.
And also
really lucky.
The audience doesn't see you disappear as a fat guy and come back as a skinny guy.
No.
So they're with you.
Well, what's weird is the Bob Hart's people watched me come down.
Right.
But the Mike and Molly people who didn't end up watching Bob Hart's, now they see me and they're like, what happened? You okay? And most of it has always been very good, supportive, loving People are like, and I'm very open about it because I wanted the truth out there that I did bariatric surgery. Because they had like an AI Facebook commercial somebody did. Some company was scamming saying I ate these magic gummy bears.
I saw that with John Goodman.
Well, they did Goodman, they did Kelly Clarkson, and they did, I think, somebody else. And I always say, there's always one slow person. Does that work? Like, gummy bears is what got me in this. What are you talking about? So I always like to get that story out there. But like I said, they were all so supportive about it. But then I became unrecognizable, and then I stopped doing stand-up for 3 years, like we were talking about. And then I came out to the clubs, and, you know, my audience was a little older because Mike and Molly, CBS is a little bit older, Bob Hart's a little bit older, so they're not coming out as much anymore. And so I'm unrecognizable, and then I quit for 3 years, and then I finally came back, and so I got them right where I want them, you know. And but there's just this joy of being back up on stage now, and it's slowly starting to build. I just hired a social media kid. That's how old I am. I just got the social media. But it's starting.
Yeah, I tried to find you.
That's terrible. You know what I saw there when we finally got me on Instagram? There was 24 fake Billy Gardell accounts.
Oh, that's really.
But all I kept thinking was like, you couldn't name any higher than that. You want to? Why are you imitating me?
Yeah,
be Tom Cruise. What do you want to be? You know. But it's slowly starting to open up for me, and being in the clubs. I've been picking clubs that help shape me.
Yeah.
And Tampa was always a big part of my evolution as I was beginning as a comic. This place was very special to me, so I'm very grateful to be here. And
well, it's great. I'll tell you, it's great. A lot of people,
home,
a lot of people don't forget where they came from. A lot of people do forget. I'm sorry, where they come from, and the fact that you are coming back here and showing some love to Tampa and Side Splitters is great. It's only tonight and tomorrow night, 2 shows.
Yeah, I think we got a handful of tickets for the late show tonight. And by the way, when I say late show, that's 8:30.
Yeah,
a 6 and an 8:30. I'm not trying to do a 10 o'clock show. That's for young.
Is there a late show?
At this point, yeah, 8:30.
No, I mean after you. Like, is there a Greg Stone? Was Greg Stone here sometime this week? I'm looking at something wrong on the internet. I got confused. So you want to go see Billy Gardell? You got 2 shows. And
I think Saturday's pretty much gone, but tonight I think there's about 50 or 60 tickets left for that 8:30 show. So come on down.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great to be back here, man. And I'm running these highways again. Like I said, I just want to be in the places that shaped me originally to kind of hit that touchstone as I build this new hour. And I'm just picking those clubs that, like, it feels home week.
Well, that's awesome. It's great to have you back. I'm glad you came in here.
Mike. It's nice to see you again.
Hey, so real quick before you go, how rich are you now?
You know, I'm not internet comic rich, but
okay, you're not in the
probably not
Austin, Texas rich yet. I got it.
I'm probably
no, Billy. I asked you.
I probably won't have to do any drywalling anytime soon. I'm happy about that.
I tell you, I feel like a lot of these guys, even though I'm not in comedy, I came up in radio at the same time, and to see you guys, you and Bert and Bobby and these guys have been friends with all this time, right? To do well, it makes me very happy.
I'm back at you, man. It's cool to see the guys that you were climbing with get their success.
Yeah.